Why do you read so much? Look at me, and I will tell you what you see. What is the real meaning of your conversion? My brother has a sword that he is sharpening into a Chiyu Jones sword, as Kirio just said. However, he is immersed in the development of intelligence, since the physics leveling branch is blocked for him. On the contrary, many others have the opportunity to choose what to develop. Those who choose the path of the mind rather than the sword can determine their own path. Let's look at all the nuances of this choice. These people do not know the word hesitate. They are so confident in their abilities and rightness that they don't even consider it necessary to prove it to anyone. Sherlock and Light may be a bit arrogant, but they realize that stupidity is much more stifling. They are straightforward in their communication, not beating around the bush. As in the famous proverb about the fisherman who senses the level of intelligence, those who have chosen the path of reason respect their peers and enjoy playing with those of lesser rank because they see what others may miss. In the previous video, we identified that the universal skill for all classes is perseverance. However, if you do decide to train your mind, you will be successful in the future. This is due to the fact that in today's realities, it is profitable to develop something that is not a priority for many. You will be like shareholders, waiting for a crisis to rise in a collapsed market and make money. Intelligence during the worldwide degradation of the population looks like an idea, but only as long as people enjoy their ego by comparing themselves to others. You will choose the path of intelligence if you want to win over your competitors. Now, when it comes to pumping, the main emphasis should be on critical thinking. This is a complex skill, and not everyone can master it easily. Critical thinking is a system of judgments for analyzing things and information that allows you to draw objective conclusions. For example, in the anime Treadsmert, L is able to draw the right conclusions with limited information. To improve critical thinking, it is important to understand how this skill works. By analyzing the examples, you can see how a person, with limited information, comes to the right conclusions, taking into account details and logic. Critical thinking helps to distinguish between opinions and determine objectivity in situations. Thus, the chosen path of intelligence in the development of critical thinking will open up new opportunities and determine your success in the future. And 9 and 20% of players, nevertheless, decided to improve this skill. The information is inaccurate. This skill is universal in any field, and in many cases, it is developed in high-ranking players. To work effectively, you need a database in your head that helps you to draw up a chain of events and come to objective conclusions. In this case, the database is Erudition. The more information you know about events, people's works, and the laws of the world, the more effective your critical thinking is. Thanks to a well-developed reflection skill, you can analyze situations, taking into account precedents that have occurred in our world, and often it turns out to be correct. As Cicero said, history is the teacher of life. Let's look at an example. A cheater appeared on our server, violating the physics of the game, walking on water and using DB to turn water into wine. People from the lobby decided to kick him out, but the developers resurrected him, and he was simply accepted by players who realized that he was in creative mode. Such situations often occurred, and they led to discord between players. Some conflicts last for decades, such as the struggle for a place to sleep in Jerusalem on the server. It is important to understand that for all living things, reproduction is the primary motivation. Everything else is a means to this end. History shows that even the most intelligent and ancient races fight among themselves because of the importance of survival. And in this context, human evolution does not violate the laws of nature. People want to live, and examples like the conflicts on the server demonstrate that this skill, critical thinking, is necessary to solve complex situations. People who do not follow this skill face problems, and understanding this, one can easily insert this principle into any context. This is an argument for those who praise characters who try to stop evil by taking out villains or leading their clan against scoundrels. However, real-life examples show that these concepts don't always work, even if they sound nice on paper. Removing all the superpowers and fantasy perception leaves us with ordinary human minds that cannot create something that another mind cannot comprehend. In some cases, it just takes more time to comprehend. The whole world is connected, And what is presented in TV series and anime has already existed in history. For viewers, it may be a hypertrophied version of power or strength in the form of superpowers, but other worlds are just an illusion to our world with minor adjustments. What doesn't work in the real world won't work in TV shows. It is important to understand that there is no such thing as too much information. Those who find reading books useful and watching anime useless may not realize that information is information, and the only difference is in the presentation. If a person can't comprehend a simple anime plot, then reading a book won't make them smarter. A simple example from fiction. The book Flowers for Algernon can be perfectly adapted into 12 anime episodes, and it will be a great title that will move you to tears. However, reading a book requires more mental effort, as the reader will have to visualize the characters and landscapes and remember all the details that are not shown in the book. Critical thinking is a skill that develops alongside other skills, such as erudition. It requires a lot of knowledge, analysis, criticism, and the ability to distinguish between obvious things and also to take into account that the gameplay is not limited to one button. So be careful.